Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're locking in on exactly how to isolate connectivity issues on Cisco routers and switches. Look, if you've ever felt that pit in your stomach panic of a network suddenly going down, you are in the right place. We're going to transform you from a guessing mechanic who's just crossing their fingers into a methodical, laser-precise network diagnostician.
So, picture this. A remote site just went completely dark. Users are screaming, the pressure is totally on, and you log into this unfamiliar, broken device. What's your first move? Where do you even start? Do you just start randomly pinging things and hoping for the best? Definitely not. So here is our agenda for today. First, the golden sequence. Second, isolating the fault domain. Third, local connectivity loss. Fourth, remote site outages. And finally, safe debugging workflows. Section 1. The golden sequence, establishing a baseline.
Okay, before you change a single line of config on a broken network, getting a baseline of device health is absolutely non-negotiable. It's step 0. First up, you run show version. You're checking the device uptime. I mean, did this router just crash and reboot because someone literally tripped over the power cord in the closet? It happens. Second, show IP interface brief. This gives you a super rapid scan of what's up and what's down. Third, show IP route to confirm your paths. Fourth, show running config to see how the device is actually set up right now. And finally, show log to dig up any recent errors or link flaps that you desperately need to know about.
Section 2. Isolating the fault domain, the layered approach. Right, so now that we've got our baseline from the golden sequence, we have to remember that troubleshooting is fundamentally just an exercise in elimination. We're not guessing. We're methodically moving from local testing to remote testing to find that exact fault domain. Step 1. Ping your local gateway. If that fails, well, your issue is local. Maybe an interface is down or there's an ARP failure. Step 2, ping the remote IP to test the entire end-to-end path. Now, step 3 gets a bit more advanced. You ping that remote IP again, but you source it from your loopback interface. This is brilliant because it validates that return traffic is actually routing back correctly to your specific management interface. And finally, step 4, you fire off a trace route to pinpoint the exact hop where your packets are dying. You use this to narrow the fault down to one specific link. Section 3. Scenario, local connectivity loss. Let's run through a scenario. A user submits a ticket saying they can't reach a host on the local network. Notice how the status and protocol for the Gigabit Ethernet 0/1 interface are both showing down/down. Just by running that show IP interface brief command, we instantly isolated the exact problem interface. Boom, no guesswork involved. But here is the real question. Why is that interface down? You have to check both layers before you start tearing your hair out over firewall rules. If you run show interfaces and you see a ton of high CRC errors, you're looking at a physical layer issue. Go check the cabling, look for a faulty SFP module, or maybe a duplex mismatch. But if you run show IP interface, you might uncover an IP layer configuration block instead. Something like an inbound access list literally named block all that is actively dropping your traffic. Section 4. Scenario, remote site outages. All right, let's raise the stakes a bit. What happens when an entire remote site goes completely unreachable? This systematic outage investigation playbook is exactly what you need to fall back on when the panic starts setting in. Let's break down the logic of this specific sequence. First things first, run show IP route for that remote subnet. If the route is missing entirely, you've instantly narrowed your fault domain down to routing. Simple as that. Second, check show IP interface brief to scan for any downed WAN or uplink interfaces. Third, verify layer 2 adjacency with show CDP neighbors detail. Honestly, this command is an absolute lifesaver. Missing CDP entries reveal physical cabling failures to your upstream devices, even when IP routing is totally busted. And lastly, check show log to review recent syslog entries. You're specifically looking for link flaps that happen to coincide with the exact time the site went offline.
Section 5. Safe debugging workflows.
Okay, sometimes our basic show commands just aren't cutting it, and we have to pull out the heavy artillery, real-time debugging. But listen closely, because here is a golden rule you must take incredibly seriously. When you're using debug IP packet to trace individual packets, you must absolutely always use an ACL filter in a production environment. If you run this command unfiltered, it generates so much output that it can literally saturate the CPU and crash a busy router. Seriously, you do not want to be the engineer who causes a massive outage while trying to fix a minor one.
So I'm going to carefully guide you through this 4-step safe workflow. Step 1.
Create a scoped access control list. You want to restrict your debug output to just a single host. Step 2. Enable your filtered packet debug, strictly applying that ACL you just made. Step 3. Observe the real-time terminal output. You're looking for drops or unexpected ICMP unreachables. And step 4. Please hear me on this. It's the most crucial step. Immediately disable the debug with the command undebug all. Never, ever leave debugs running on a production device. I mean, unless you want to be updating your resume tomorrow morning.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. When the next major outage hits your network, and it will, how are you going to respond? Are you going to be a mechanic just guessing at a fix? Or are you going to be a true network diagnostician, methodically eliminating the faults? If you master this layered approach, you're going to be ready to isolate and conquer literally any ticket that comes your way.